So yeah, we have a lot going on in this episode. This is one of the better episodes. I don't know why it's called Time for After. I mean, I get why it's called that, of course. It has to do with the whole Rick situation with him and the heapsters or whatever. But they literally should have called this something relating toward Eugene's situation, because Eugene has a lot to do in this episode. He's basically the primarily he's the person that they focus on up in this. And so yeah, welcome to the Walking Dead SPOILERCAST on episode 7, Time for After. And so I'm gonna just start off with the whole Eugene situation. Like, this is a test for Eugene to find out where his loyalties lie. Now, he went from being in Rick's group and, just being like with them, to being Negan, as the Negan followers will call themselves. And it's like this episode surely shows that, because he literally goes all out. And it's like he gets banged, he gonna get bombasted from one person to the next person, and just basically where to go with, like, how to handle the situation with what he knows about Dwight, and just basically how to go with, not sacrificing, but he knows that one side, that some people are gonna die, and he's, in the sense of what he said, he's okay with letting Rick's people die. And it's like, I want to know what's really going on, because it's like, you would think that he would want to be on. I guess you can't, like, in put in that position, you can't know who's the winning side, or whatever. But you would think that he would want to go with Rick, since they the group that brought him and they found him. But then it's like, I brought him and found him. They're the group that kind of basically kept him, and made him a part of the group. And so now he flipped and ended up being a part of Negan's group, and now he's straight helping Negan. So I don't really get too much of the logic behind it, because he sees what Negan is, about. And it's like, you're literally, I don't know if he has an end game. That could be a possibility, that he has an end game, that he is working, with Negan, but has his own agenda, that he sees what Rick is doing. He's probably not working with Rick and them, but he's basically gonna start something. He's gonna set up something on his own. But I don't know if he's gonna be straight with the saviors by the whole end of this whole situation with the saviors and Rick's group and all this stuff. And so basically, up in this episode, yeah, he confronts Dwight about the whole situation, and he gives him an ultimatum. He tells him that, either you stop with the snitching, you stop with the ratting, and colluding with Rick's group, and or he's gonna bring it to Negan and let him know who is the rat, who is the person responsible for everything. And so he leaves it at that. But that's not before Dwight lets him know, like, yo, this is the reason why I do this. Like, do you want to continue to be living like this? And basically, he's like living in fear, because like even later on in the episode, you see Eugene when he's talking to Negan, and he and Negan kind of like, Negan is intimidating. I mean, as far as like a character, he's coming up to you because like a lot of people might look at, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he looks too handsome to be intimidating. He's all skinny. I mean, however you might look at, just him as an actor and all this stuff. But just think about it. Like, you have to put yourself in, in Eugene's shoes. Like, say this is real life, and you're talking to Negan, and he is cocky as hell, and you know what he's capable of, and he's walking around with a bat that he's named Lucille, and he has wrapped around in barbed wire, and you know that he possibly would bash your head in. You're telling me that you're not going to take him serious? So that's why I'm looking at it through a character standpoint, that if I were Eugene, whatever. And so Negan is an intimidating person. So you come to this person And you could tell that Eugene was looking scared. You can tell that he was looking scared. Well, you could tell that he was scared. I mean, by just his look, you could tell that he was scared when Negan got in his face. So it's like, why would you help out a person that you fear, rather than people that you basically respect? And like Rick, and just the rest of the Alexandrians, I guess you would call them that. But I don't know. I feel like Eugene has a plan in place. I'm not counting him out just yet, though I would love to see him get killed. But I'm not counting him out just yet, because I believe that he has some type of plan up his sleeve to help out Rick's group and all this stuff when it comes down to it. And also, like, Eugene, like I said, it seems like he's brainwashed. It seems like he's drinking the Kool-Aid that Negan is drinking. Now, it could be mainly because of fear, which I think that's what it is. Or it could just be simply like he agrees with what, Negan is offering him. And I believe that's mainly what it is. And so when it comes down to it, he goes to Gabriel. Gabriel is in bed. He's sick. And so he basically tries to get through to him as well, by telling him he needs to do the right thing and all this stuff. And so you can tell where both Dwight and Gabriel lie, of course, with like Rick and his people, and just letting Eugene know, like, you need to be on the right side, because if you're there with Negan, you are going to die with him. And so Eugene is basically just getting thrown ultimatums. He's contemplating everything. Like, he's staying firm on Negan, but you can tell that he's kind of like thinking about it. That he's still having doubts. And so it comes to that point where he basically wants to help out. He wants to help out Negan and the rest of them. So what he does is that while fixing old girl's radio or whatever, he finds Sasha's iPod that she was listening to while she was in the coffin or whatever. And so he ends up hooking it up to where the music plays through the little speaker, and he has a kite, and he wants to fly it out to basically lead the walkers away. And so we have Dwight come in, and he sees that. And so he puts the gun to him, and he threatens him, saying, just basically telling him not to do it. And so Dwight, he calls his bluff, and so he ends up doing it. At that very motherfucking moment, that's when Daryl carries out his plan and running the truck into the sanctuary, which brings all the walkers in. And I'm going to get a little bit into that once I talk about Daryl and everything else. But at that point, you see Dwight shoots the kite down, and that's when all chaos ensues. And once Eugene sees everything, this is where he breaks. He breaks. And that's when he knows for sure that he's on Negan's side. Which, like I said, I still think that he has a plan in place. But he just want everyone to think that he's not going to. That he's basically with Negan. Now, he probably might end up executing it at the last minute, or he probably might not have a plan in place, but he might end up switching sides at the last moment. He probably might end up being a major factor in why Rick's group wins. But it's just, this is at the point where he just breaks. He gets thrown over the edge. He goes back in the room with Gabriel, and he tells him that he's with Negan all the way. That he is Negan and all that stuff. And so he tells, that's when he goes to Negan, and he lets him know that, that he's down with him. And so Negan, he tells him, can you make them bullets? And so he tells him, he gone ahead, he can make them bullets for the people, that way they can fill their guns up and just take it out. And so right at the moment where he's about to out Dwight, that's when they come in. And so Dwight is right there. And so he basically doesn't tell him. He doesn't tell him. So that poses the question. Why didn't he tell him? Why didn't he let Negan know right then and there that Dwight is the person that basically caused all this, or helped cause all this? So I don't know, like, and it's because you got his anger, like he was pissed, like he was just done, like everything is out the window. He don't give a fuck. He's with Negan, but yet he still withheld information, despite the fact that he's with the White. He know the White ain't about to. I mean, the White will probably try something, but he know that he's protected. So it's like, why would you hold it back? I don't know. It just it's that's the question that poses for next time. But what else? What else? What else? What else? So we get to Daryl. Now we get back to the whole thing of him ramming the stuff, him carrying out his plan and ramming the truck into the sanctuary, letting all the walkers in. This was a bad idea for the simple fact that when all the walkers are outside, they basically were trapped inside of there. They couldn't get a plan to get up out of there. They didn't know what to do. But now they were forced to gun down a lot of the walkers. Even though some people died, a lot of people died. They were forced to basically gun down these walkers that were blocking their way out. Now that puts them in a position to where, like, Alexandria and the rest of them have the upper hand because they're trapped in there, and that once they got the help of the heapsters, they can go and basically just take out the rest of the sanctuary. Just do what they need to do. But here's the major but. It's like now they have a way out. They have a way out. You got Negan and his people are going to run through all these walkers. They're going to run through all these walkers, which that's kind of like weird. Run through the walkers. Okay, but anyway, they're gonna run through all these walkers. They're gonna gun them all down, and when they do that, that's when they can get out and get free. So he basically, in a sense, I mean, it was kind of like, at the expense of like a lot of people, like casualties, but Daryl helped, the saviors out and what they were trying to do. He helped them out. He pushed it to the point where they had no choice but to fight out. And now, since they are gunning down all these walkers, that they're clearing the way for them to get out to where they can fight back. And that's one thing that Rick didn't want. And it's like Daryl, he's going to see it like, damn, Rick was right or whatever. And then that also poses the question that after this happened, we see, I don't know, like, I don't remember if Daryl jumped out the garbage truck, but once the truck ran into the sanctuary building, you didn't see Daryl from that point on. So I don't know if he jumped out the truck, but even if he was in the truck, it's like, what happened? Did he get knocked out? What happened with Daryl? What's going to happen? So it poses the question of, like, that poses that question. So I don't know. We're gonna see what's happening. Then also in this episode, you see I keep forgetting her name. We got, I say, Abraham's ex-girlfriend. She basically she doesn't want to be a part of what Daryl was doing, so she says that she's out. And of course Morgan was in, and then I'm forgetting. There's a lot of characters. Forgive me. Forgive me. And then Michonne said she wanted to see the sanctuary, but once she got there, she said she didn't want to be a part of it. That basically Daryl was kind of like, I ain't gonna say on his own because he still had old girl and he had Morgan helping him, but it's like she didn't want to be a part of that, so she dipped out before he even rammed the truck into there. So it's like Daryl, he's a rebel without a cause, or a rebel with a cause, but he was trying to do it for the right reasons, but he still should stick to Rick's plan, because now they're in a whole heap of trouble, and it's gonna take a lot to get out of it. So it's interesting to see where this carries on, because I think we only have one more episode before it goes on this mid-season finale until next year. So yeah, and so we got Rick in this episode still offering the Heapsters an alliance. And so they take it to where they basically stripped him down to his underwear. And so they hold him down where they had like a walker with a thing around his face and stuff. And so they were about to basically kill him, and then Rick ended up fighting his way out of the whole situation. Which you gotta think, like, where was the rest of the people with guns that Rick was able to get out of this situation like that? You would think to have something like that, they would have a lot of them around watching, just in case something were to happen, if he were to fight his way out of it or whatever. But, you know, he ends up fighting his way out of it. And he ends up getting the upper hand of old girl. What's her name? I didn't even write down her name. But the leader of the Heapsters, he ends up taking her down while he's surrounded by guns. And so that at that point, he ends up getting their alliance. So now he got the Heapsters back on board. And that's when Rick finds out that basically what Daryl did. And that there are no more walkers around in the sanctuary, which throws a monkey wrench into their plans. And now we're basically on our edge of our seats trying to figure out what the hell is going to happen on this mid-season finale, which you know is going to end on a cliffhanger. So that's the only thing that sucks about it. But that's really all to say about this episode. This is a very Eugene heavy episode, and a lot of stuff happened. This was actually a pretty good episode. I enjoyed it. I'm not one of those people that get super bored with The Walking Dead, but it did have a lot to offer this episode, so I did like it. And so with that said, this concludes this Walking Dead spoiler cast on episode 7. What is it called? Episode 7, Time for After, which was part of the Rick's thing and how she was taking pictures, and she wanted to take pictures of how he looked and before he got eaten by the zombie and after. So yeah, that was the whole thing with that. And so do me a favor, go ahead, hit that thumbs up button and share and comment this video, as well as hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that notification button. That way you'll be notified for anything that drops on my channel, whether it be podcast, movie review, or whatever. Just go ahead and do that, and yeah, that's it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.